Hey guys, my name's Denver and I'm here with Chris with Launch, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the home building process. I've got lots of questions. There's lots of mystery surrounding the home building process, how long it takes, how much it costs, all of these kinds of things. We're going to talk about those details today. So yeah, let's just get started. Chris, how long have you been building homes?
All right, so we started in 2018, and since then have grown massively, I would say. Our process has changed kind of along the way, and that's why we're doing this video today, just to update on what to expect with a build with launch.
Walk me through that. How did the process kind of start?
So we've basically started off as a spec home builder, and what we were doing is we were building specs with higher finishes compared to other builders, right? And once we got into that, we started getting traction and attention, and then it was like, okay, let's stop doing specs and let's just go full custom, where we can kind of capture our clients' visions.
So moved on to custom. What did that kind of entail? How did you get there?
So it was a process, figuring out basically how to, take a client's ideas and put it into a process. And it's something that we've been perfecting now for 5 years. And I would say we're still learning and still adapting. It's a very intimate thing building a custom home, especially, taking ideas and making them become reality. So yeah, it's a journey, and it's something that we're continuously improving on.
Clearly a lot is involved from the builder point of view, but also tell me a little bit about how much is involved from my point of view, the client point of view.
So that's a good question. A lot of times people are almost scared of the idea of actually taking on a task such as building a house. So what we basically do is we break everything down into steps. So when we're designing your custom plans, we're just focusing on your plans. After the plans are done and we move into interior design, again, we break it down step by step. And with that, we have an interior designer who's named Jillian, and she basically looks after that client liaison role to make sure you're comfortable. But there is definitely a lot of steps.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of things do you guys bring to the table for a custom home?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I come to you and say, I want this home. You're going to have some of your own thoughts, your own opinions. So what do I need to bring to the table versus what you guys bring to the table?
So for that, basically the most important piece is being realistic with your budget, okay? A lot of people will come to us with crazy ideas, but they don't always have that crazy budget. So what I like to identify early is what your budget is, what can you get for that dollar amount, right? Yeah. And then set the expectation properly from there. I've had it in the past where clients will bring their own set of drawings, and we're not part of the actual drafting process.
Right.
Quote the house out, and they're $300-400 grand over what their budget was.
Yeah.
Right. So what I say with that is you definitely want to be working with your builder early. I think it's a terrible idea to go and make plans by yourself, not knowing what things cost.
What should I be expecting when I come in with a cost?
Mm-hmm. So essentially what I'll do right at the beginning is I'll send you over a welcome pack, which is going to have a few questions that you're going to answer for me. And in that, we're going to try to identify what you're looking for. Basically, what I'll say is we start at $850 in one of our master plan communities. And then from there, it can go up to, 3-4 million, whatever you kind of want, right? So the most important piece there, again, is making sure that we have realistic expectations at all times.
I would imagine a lot of people are afraid of okay, we're gonna start at 850. I'm gonna build this house, but halfway through the process, something's gonna change, and I'm gonna need another $100,000.
So with that, the biggest piece is, again, identifying what you want and what your dollar is going to do. So if somebody comes in and they say, okay, we've got a budget of X, what I'll do is I'll go to my previous projects that we've completed, and I'll see if that expectation for the amount of money they want to spend is realistic. Then once we kind of determine if it is or isn't, then we'll move into a drafting stage where we'll design the house. And again, keeping in mind, this is our budget. Yeah. After that's done, then I'll do a detailed budget, which will break down all the costs of that entire build based on a spec that would maybe be similar to this show home or another project that we've completed. And that's how we keep from our budgets from essentially growing, right? I'm not going to say that they never do, of course, because I've got clients that they get into it and they're like, I want a golf sim, I want a pool, and those are the rare cases, but I'd say probably 98% of the time we're on or under budget.
What's the craziest thing you put in a house?
So I'd say my favorite thing to do is set up entertainment spaces in basements. So total man or woman caves. We just recently completed a project where we had over 2,000 square feet of just like man cave. So theater area, massive bar, golf sim, pretty dialed.
Good grief, that's cool. Let's pivot a little bit here. Let's talk about the timeline. Yeah, how long is it going to take? When can I get into my house?
Yeah, so if we were to be starting with 100% custom plans, we sit down, blank piece of paper, and we start drawing. That process, again, depending on the size of the house and where it is, typically could take between 8 and 10 months. With some of our bigger projects, larger customs, maybe on acreages, they could definitely go from 10 to 12, 10 to 15, depending. So it's kind of a hard question to give you exact, but if we're in, let's say, one of our master plan communities, about 10 months is pretty realistic.
Okay. You could be drafting in the fall and be in it by the next summer. Like
Totally.
that's pretty cool. In terms of like, when do I get financing? How do I get financing? I can live in my house, but should I sell my house before? Like, do you guys help with that? Do you have any input into that?
Yeah, so we operate on draw mortgages for our custom builds. Our initial cost is our drafting fee, which then rolls into our contract later on. But essentially, it's a draw mortgage, and we pull a first draw at foundation.
Cool. Goodness, is it spray tan or have you actually just been out of the?
I'm just outside.
Okay, good grief.
Good grief.
It's May and this guy's already looking like he's been on the beach for a month.
I know, that's what my wife said too.
Good night. Yeah, so maybe tell me a little bit about like your involvement. Like what you said, yeah, you're outside a lot, clearly.
Yeah.
How much of the building do you do? How much time do you spend on these projects?
I would say my role now is I look after all of our drafting, our designs, and then I look after sales and legal. After that, our team takes care of everything, and they do a really good job at it.
So you're just that guy who's in the truck on site, taking the photo of like, look where I am, look what I'm doing, but then you piss off.
100%, 100%.
So it's about a 10-month process.
Yeah.
How involved is the process from the client's end?
Mm-hmm. So essentially, after we get the plans done and you move into the interior design phase of things, you're going to be in constant contact with Jillian. But as it kind of moves in, it'd be a little bit less demand on the client. But I'd say you need to allow for at least 15 hours of your personal time in person. And then as far as like emails, things like that, going back and forth, I'd say budget for another 10 just to be safe, for sure.
In terms of, building a house, like, I don't know, what kind of insight or value, what kind of customization do you really have in your home?
Mm-hmm. As far as customization goes, you can pretty much do anything you want to do as long as I can get an engineer to stamp it. So I'm not going to do anything that doesn't meet code and won't and might potentially fail. But yeah, we've done some things that even I'm like, how did we do that, right?
How did you do that? You probably bought the engineer a bottle of whiskey.
Right.
Oh. How do we stay on budget throughout this whole process?
Yeah. So essentially, like I mentioned, after we've done our drafting period, we're going to do up a detailed budget. As we progress into design phase with Jillian, she's updating our job costing, so we always know where we're at. Okay. Now, how that works is we have a full team. So Jill goes with client, they pick flooring, and it's $1,000 cheaper, let's say. Okay. That change order would then be issued by Iris, who's our estimator, which then would be reported into our job costing through Jade, who's our accountant. Okay. And now what we do monthly is we give you a detailed breakdown on exactly where you are in that period of time for your budget. So you'll see if we're higher or lower in real time, essentially. I review it, Iris reviews it, and so does Jade, who's our accountant. And we just basically want to make sure that's dialed because that's basically our Bible.
Yeah. Let's dive more into your team.
Yeah.
Obviously it started in 2018.
Yeah.
It was just you and probably a couple guys who were pounding nails, I guess.
Yeah.
Where are you at today?
So yeah, our team now we're 14. And that's a mixture of field staff, site supers, admin, service, accounting, controllers, like the whole shebang. But yeah, definitely as times progress, I'll see where we're light, and based on demand on what we're building, and we'll fill in when needed.
How many people along the process am I gonna, am I gonna know your whole team? Am I gonna know a couple of key individuals?
Yeah, you're going to know key individuals for sure. So you're going to know Jade, again, accounting. You're going to know Iris in estimating purchasing. You're going to know Jill, interior designer. You're going to know Nathan, who's our construction manager. Dylan, who's our site super, and then myself is who you're basically going to deal with on a weekly, monthly basis.
So yeah, today we're here in the Countess Show Home, which is on Ryberry Court in Sherwood Park. So you guys do a lot of homes in Sherwood Park. I know you're building some just kind of across over there. Why Sherwood Park?
Yeah, so we actually started in Sherwood Park back in 2018 in Aspen Trails, which is on the other end of where we are right now. We're in Salisbury Village right now. But Sherwood Park, this is where I grew up. It's my town, I would say. I love this place. I love the schools. I love the people. It's just where I want to be. We had the option to build in Edmonton and get into some of the master plan communities in there as well, but we kind of steered away from it because I feel that I want to be a part of my community, and this is how we give back. Because really, like we're creating homes for families, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, we're building here in Salisbury Village. Right now, in total, I've got 60 lots in this area, and in Aspen Trails we had another 20, which we're all done there now. But then we're also focusing out in Ardrossan as well. And Ardrossan is, like, in my opinion, going to be the next Sherwood Park. It's a beautiful place. It's a slower pace. You see more kids kind of playing around, which is really cool. So I'm also very passionate about that area. But again, it's still in Strathcona County, which is Sherwood Park as well.
Yeah.
So,
what kind of lots do you build on?
yeah. So again, we've got Salisbury Village, which would be similar to this style of lot, more master planned. Our Ardrossan's lots are a little bit bigger, and then we do a lot of estate and acreage builds as well. So with those ones, it's a different beast, I would say. A builder that's never built on an acreage shouldn't build on an acreage. You definitely want to know what you're doing, because there's a lot more to an acreage or an estate build than in these type of areas. We're not worrying about private sewage and waters, things like that. But yeah, so essentially, if you're looking to be on an acreage, we can help you buy land, we can help you source land, and then if you've got a lot and you just want us to come and build on it, we can come and do that as well.
Okay, so there's lots of options there, and factors that the homeowner has to consider if that's what they want, to be that far away from
Absolutely,
from a
yeah.
town too. My dream one day is to build an acreage with you guys. Do I come to you guys before or after purchasing a property? Walk me through it a little.
Yeah. So the biggest thing with an acreage is knowing what's on that land. So one thing that happens time and time again is somebody goes and they buy, let's say, a 3-acre lot, and it's got wetlands on it. But homeowner doesn't know what a wetland is. So they just bought themselves this lot that they can't build on, and they don't know that until they've engaged a builder and they've tried plotting the house. Right. So I would say the biggest thing is bringing that builder in early to help guide you through it and hopefully save you a lot of money.
Let's talk a little bit more about the acreage process.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can help me purchase the land?
Yeah, for
or
sure.
Find the land?
Yeah, so we work with a team out of Sherwood Park, the Smitty Mac team, and essentially what their job for us to do is find us that land. So they'll go and they'll do their land search. They can put us on a notification system where anything pops up, we get a look at it. Now, in Strathcona County, land is the hardest thing to find. I've got multiple buyers that want a lot right now and they want to build, but there's just nothing available. Okay, so having that notification piece is so important, and then also being able to act fast to make a purchase once it does come available, because it won't be on long. So having the realtors kind of in pocket is clutch, and then also having a builder that can tell you, okay, that lot is garbage or that lot is awesome, is also pretty important.
Yeah. Is the timeline longer for an acreage than it would be in town?
Yeah, so with acreages, I don't want to start an acreage build until May. I would say that I would start one in June, but I want to make sure that we're locked up with permanent heat before winter. You never want to break ground on an acreage in the middle of winter. It's you got snow to worry about. It's hard to get power. It's hard to get gas. This stuff all takes time. Where like if you came to me and you want to build in Salisbury Village, I'll build year round, no problem.
Okay.
Because we have power and gas already at the site. It's easy.
What's in store for the future? What does Launch Homes look like in the next 6 years?
Yeah, so I think that's a really good question. We're expanding in other areas as well. So our main focus is our custom homes, but we're also expanding into multifamily. So I see that sort of becoming something. With that, it's more on the rental side. So it's a completely different beast than what we are right now. But I would say that the majority of our homes going forward are gonna. I'd say we're still gonna be doing like your typical single families in town, but we're gonna really focus on the estate and the acreage product. We've got a couple of projects close to Sherwood Park where we're gonna have multiple acreage lots available. So with that, it's going to really change the dynamic because now we're basically mass producing acreages, which is pretty cool. So again, your clientele changes a little bit, but really excited about that, and we'll be seeing that here probably in the next year and a half. So for now, we're going to focus on the acreages. We're going to focus on the single family we're doing in Sherwood Park and in Ardrossan, and then from there we might transition into more, again, stepping that bar up higher and higher to more and more elite homes.
How important is it for me, the homeowner, to trust the home builder in the process? How important is that relationship and that dynamic?
Yeah, trust is probably the number one thing with this process. We're probably dealing with the most money you're ever going to spend, aside from your taxes. So I would say that, yeah, we definitely have to have this relationship where you can come to me with things and I can come to you, and vice versa with our entire team, right? That's how we're going to be able to capture exactly what you're looking for.
Other than build with Launch, what's one piece of advice that you would give to somebody looking to build a home?
Yeah, I would basically say make sure you do your homework. There's a lot of builders out there that might hit your price point, but there's a reason why they're hitting your price point. So just keep that in mind. And then overall, just keep your eyes open. And the more information you have, the better. Don't be afraid to use Google. If you have questions, again, you can reach out to us. Even if you're not at that point where you're ready to build, we're still here. If you have questions on pricing, stuff like that, reach out. We'll kind of guide you as best we can.
Well, Chris, thanks for taking this time to sit down with me and answer some of the questions that one may have about building a custom home. Like I said, this is something that I hope to do with my family in the future, move on to an acreage, build our own custom dream home. So definitely looking forward to that process.
Awesome.
For those of you watching, if you have questions about building a home, or maybe you're ready to start the process of building your own custom dream home, get in contact with Chris at Launch Homes.
Deadly.
There we go.
Good job.
Good job, buddy.